Welcome, guys, to another live stream with me, Professor Heather Austin. I'm super excited to see you guys in the chat. A lot of you guys showed up early. We have an amazing live stream planned for you. We are going to be talking about job search planning for 2024. Now, we have some amazing slides prepared for you. We even have a brand new free 2024 job search planner. Let me put that in the screen a little bit more. If you guys have not yet downloaded your job search playbook, go to the link either in the description. I've also placed a link for you in the comments section so that you can click the link. You're going to enter your name and your email address, and the job search playbook is going to be delivered straight to your inbox. So here's the thing. This is going to be an amazing job search planning workshop. You're not going to want to miss a thing. And I know that you guys are busy because this is a crazy time of year. Normally we don't do a live stream this close to the holidays, but it shows me that if you guys are here, you are serious about landing your ideal job offer in the new year. So I'm going to get right into slides. I want to say hello to a couple of you before we jump into it. A lot of you guys were early in the chat. George is here. So happy to see you. Tane, I'm so happy that you're here. Roma, happy to see you. Victoria, Francis is here. I know I saw Tim. I saw a lot of different people. Ken is here. The chat's moving so fast. I'm like, where's everyone at? So happy to see you guys. Laura is here. I also have my amazing team member, Tori, who she's going to be moderating the chat. We're going to be taking lots of questions during the live stream today. I'm also going to be asking you guys lots of questions. So if you have not yet logged in to YouTube, make sure you log in so that you can enter the chat, talk to us. This is a very interactive session today. So again, we are going to be talking all about job search planning for the new year. I basically want you guys to master the job market, not only using AI, but of course our nifty job search planner. So if you have not yet downloaded that, go to the link in the chat. Let me also mention this. I believe if you go to heatheraustin.online/planner, that will take you right to the link to download your planner. Again, enter your name and your email address so that you can grab the planner. I'm going to be flipping through the pages. I'm also going to be showing it to you on the screen here today. I have lots of amazing questions to ask you guys. The things that I'm sharing with you today, they are being used by our clients and our students, and they are receiving amazing success because of this. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for all that good stuff. We do also have a very special holiday flash offer for our career advancement toolkit, but I'll share more about that as we go. So I'm going to jump right into the slides, you guys. So I'm really going to be giving you your blueprint to your job search success today. So tune in, turn off all your distractions, all that good stuff. Let me find my slides now so that I can go through everything. Here is again the link for the job search planner. If you have not yet grabbed this, this is totally free. So if you're here today and you're joining us on this live stream, you're going to have guides and examples in there. There's templates and instructions. There's a job search checklist. There's a weekly planner and lots of questions to help you guys really hone in on your job search. So my very first question to you, and this is actually on page 2 of the planner, is what is your primary career goal for the new year? So I know Tim and a couple of you had mentioned that you have your job search planner printed off. So this is going to be on page 2 of the planner. What is your primary career goal in the new year? Not only do I want you to write it in your planner, I want you to type it into the chat. So type into the chat, what is your primary career goal? Now in the planner, I actually give you an example because I know sometimes people are like, well, I don't know. What is my goal? I'm not a huge goal planner. In fact, goal planning and that kind of stuff, it kind of like stops me in my tracks. But for you guys, I want you to really think about what is your primary career goal in the new year. So while you're typing that into the chat, I want to share just a few success stories with you guys so that you know what's possible if you're here today and you continue to visit the channel. And by the way, hit the like button down below on this channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do it. It is a huge, huge, huge help for us. Not only those little simple tasks they help us be able to come to you and do live trainings just like this for free. They help us to continue to do what we do, to continue to help job seekers on planet Earth. So make sure you do that as you're typing into the chat what your primary career goal is for the new year. Now, Michael recently wrote into us and said, hey, thank you for the amazing and insightful videos. I applied for a position with my state on 3 separate occasions and did not get the job. He said, prior to my 4th attempt, which he says I was hesitant to do, I discovered your videos and I studied them day in and day out. And guess what? I got the job. Here's what Amy said. She says, I stumbled across one of your videos on YouTube and I have to say it was the best resume video I have seen. The information you provided was key and truly helped me overcome the hurdle of writing about myself and putting quantifiable achievements into my resume, which I know we all struggle with that. She goes on to say that I was able to land the exact job I was after with a 30% salary increase. And then one last success story before I read what you guys have for your career goals. Clay wrote in and said, I just wanted to send you a message and tell you how much your resume YouTube videos helped me. Within 3 hours of sending in my resume, the VP of my #1 choice company contacted me. We moved along in the selection process on day 1. He says, I never expected results like this. So if you guys continue to tune in today, you like this video, you subscribe to this channel, you are going to see success just like these folks. Now, if you're wondering who I am, I'm Professor Heather Austin. I was a university professor turned entrepreneur. And on this channel here, we've been able to help people from all across the globe land top job offers at amazing companies. These are just a few: Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Paramount, Pluto, Dropbox, PGA, so many amazing companies. And we've also been recognized as a featured educator here on YouTube. So again, tune in because you guys are going to have amazing success just like these folks. If you pay attention today, download your job search planner. Again, we are on page 1 and I'm asking you page 2, what is your primary career goal for the new year? Type that in. What is your primary career goal for the new year? Now we are on air. This is a live training. You will have access to a replay. I know a lot of you had wrote in and said, Heather, I'm out Christmas shopping, which I should probably be doing too. And I want to make sure that I catch the replay. We'll send this out to you guys after we finish here today, but close all of the distractions. Close all your tabs. You guys are here, so I know that you're really serious about the job market for 2024. So let me just see what a few of you guys are saying. Hello, Catherine. So happy you're here. And Ken and Michelle. Okay, I'm going to pick a few. Tane says, land a position, hopefully in recruiting. I would love to be remote. Isn't that the ideal scenario? Yes. Tim says to find a remote position in data entry or customer service. Catherine says to land my job, happiness. I love that, Catherine. Marty says start a new career in legal as a paralegal or legal assistant. Michelle says find a remote position in telehealth. So I'm going to give you guys the blueprint to make this happen today. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's move into, I have a quick little bonus to share with you. If you stick around until the end, you will learn where you can grab a free 60-minute career strategy consultation with me and my team. Plus, I'm also going to be sharing with you guys where you can find a 3-day LinkedIn mini series. So again, everything we do, a lot of it revolves around LinkedIn, right? So I'm going to be sharing with you guys where you can find a 3-part mini series to help you optimize your profile and start networking and connecting with the right people. So let's quickly look at what we're covering today. I want to really quickly go through top job market trends of 2024 so that you know what's to come in this new year. I also want to go through with you how you can adapt and enhance your skill set to match the industries and the jobs that are in demand for this new year. I also want to talk a little bit about the impact of AI. So if you guys have visited this channel here or you've watched any of our videos recently, we have a huge focus on AI right now, only because there's 2 main reasons. We are seeing how beneficial it is to our job seekers and our clients and our students, But the other reason is that I'm seeing a lot of frustration from job seekers when they go and try and use it and they're not using it properly. So again, we are trying to teach you everything that we know and prompts and strategies that are working for us and our clients and our students. So we're going to touch on that a little bit. And then I want to spend most of the time today on your job search plan. Okay. So again, make sure you print out or at least get up on your computer the job search workbook and all the worksheets and all that amazing stuff that are in there. Go to heatheraustin.online/planner. That will take you right there. Tori and I have also shared links in the comments. You'll also find a link to download this in the description below. So we are going to spend a majority of our time on that plan, and then I'm going to be answering questions along the way. So question for you. And again, we are still on page 2 of our workbook. What's your ideal job title and desired industry? Now, in the workbook, I'm asking you to share at least 7 job titles and 7 desired industries. You don't need to share all 7 right here, right now, today. I want to hear at least 1. So 1 ideal job title and 1 industry. So you might want to switch industries, or you might have multiple industries that you want to work in. That's totally fine. Feel free to share at least 1 job title and 1 desired industry. So while you guys are typing that in, as we move into our first topic, which is really the job market trends of 2024, so that you know what comes, type that in, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the job market trends. So here's what we are finding. And again, this is through lots of research. If you ever are saying, Heather, where are you getting your information? Let me know, because I have loads and loads of articles and research that we do just to find out what's going to happen or what we think will happen. Now, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict the future, but this is what we are seeing in terms of trends, okay? The job market is expected to slow. So we have seen the labor reports coming out, and basically they're telling us that we had this big, huge high in 2021, 2022. Well, now we're starting to see some of this demand slow down. We used to see 2 job postings per job applicant. We're now seeing about 1.5, okay? So we're not seeing as many job openings. It's still there, but it's going to slow down in 2024. Here is a quick graph that kind of shows you what's happening. So this is a report that Indeed does every single year. This is showing the trend down. If you guys look at this chart of total job postings, you can see that in 2020, which was the pandemic, right? Everything stopped pretty much. And then it slowly went up all the way to 2022, and now we're kind of seeing that dip in the job market in terms of the job postings. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that we are expecting wage increases to diminish. So if you guys remember about a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago, we were working with clients and they were asking for twice what the company was offering, and they were actually getting that increase in their salary. We're not seeing that as much anymore. There are still amazing high-paying jobs out there, but what we're seeing is that those increases are actually expected to slow a little bit. In fact, here is another graph that we found. This is again by Indeed, where it's actually showing you how, notice in 2020, things really took a dip, went super sky high in 2022. That's right where we were seeing all of our clients go in and say, hey, I don't want just $150,000 a year. I want $250,000 a year. They were asking for the moon and they were getting it. Well, now we're seeing that trend tick down. So keep that in mind if you are currently in salary negotiations. Now, the other thing to look at is that we are having this return to office debate. They are saying that this is going to continue. I know that most of us want that remote work opportunity, but we are seeing that CEOs are really valuing that in-person time. So keep that in mind also as you are negotiating your salary. Here's a recent article that talks about how 90% of companies are saying that, hey, by the end of 2024, we want everyone to come back to the office. But then here's the interesting part is that they're also talking about that 5-day commute, how no one is going to be going in 5 days into the office. It's now more like the hybrid work schedules where you might be going in 2 days a week. Maybe you're going in 3 days a week. Maybe you're switching your weeks on and off. So keep that in mind again as you guys are looking at these job postings, what they're asking and as you're negotiating your compensation packages. Now, the other thing that we're looking at is workers are prioritizing stability. So we did see this big, huge trend over the last couple of years where you'd see a lot of job hoppers. You'd have a worker come in, they'd work for like 6 months to a year, and they'd say, I don't like this, I'm going to move on. And it was actually okay for them to move on. Well, now we're seeing that as workers, we want a stable company. We kind of want things to even out. I think everyone's kind of done with those highs and those lows, right? So we're now looking at more stability. So look to that as you are looking at your job postings that you're interested in. And then, of course, the last thing here in terms of the trends for what's to come is we are also looking at companies that are trying to hire more strategically. And here's the key. When I say more strategically, a lot of companies are now starting to implement AI, which we're going to talk a little bit about in just a minute, to do their hiring, okay? So that's where you have to really be smart about how you're using AI. Again, if you visit this channel and you attend our live streams and you watch the videos that we put out, it will prepare you for what's to come. Now, next question for you. List at least one company you would like to work for. So pop into the chat one company you would like to work for. So if you guys jump over to your workbook again, we are on page 3 now. So on page 3 in the workbook, I'm asking you to start brainstorming a lot of different things. But one of the things I'm asking you to brainstorm is the company, at least one company. In fact, I actually have you list 10. You could even list up to 30 if you wanted. But for the purpose of today's live stream, list at least one company you would like to work for. Let me see where you guys are in terms of job titles. And where I see single, it says single processing engineer. I like that. Ryan says CEOs don't value the time of the people. They don't want to be on the hook for the real estate cost. I think it depends on the CEO. I have worked with amazing CEOs. I help amazing CEOs find jobs. And a lot of times, they are people. They want to communicate and interact with their employees. And I think that's one of the reasons why they are pushing a return to work. Hello, Amici. I'm so happy that you're here. He says, remember, folks, these are the trends. Professor Austin can help you buck the trend, understand your specific market, and negotiate your way to a package that meets or exceeds your expectations. I love that. So amazing. Thanks for joining us today. Good, guys. Okay, I'm looking at Mercedes-Benz as a company. I love that. Avalier as a company, Morgan Stanley, Fidelity or Schwab, Microsoft, so good. Tesla, I love that. A city job, Apple, Google, yes, amazing companies. You guys, Mike said Honeywell. I love it. Make sure you guys get your planner and you're listing that. Now, there's a couple other exercises on this page. We could probably do a 5-hour training just on this planner alone. But just so you know, there's a couple other exercises on that page. I want you to go through those and answer these questions because they're really going to help you hone in on where you need to be, smart job search strategies so that you can combat the 2024 job market. Now, the next thing that I really want to focus on is you adapting and enhancing your skill set. So turn to page 4 of your workbook, and this is where I want you to start thinking about what your strengths are. Okay, and I'll ask you in a second what your strengths are. But how do we come into this job market, and how do we really become a top candidate over all the other candidates that will be applying for that same position? So there's 2 things I want you to think about. 2 ways to combat this: continuous learning and skill development. Now, let me share with you what I mean by this. So when we're looking at continuous learning and skill development, there's 5 areas that I want you to focus on. The first one is just getting comfortable with basic tools and platforms. So this is easy. This is an easy one that all of you guys can do. This would be things like project management software, Asana, Trello, maybe even becoming proficient in Microsoft Office or Google Workspace or something like that. So just getting comfortable with basic tools and platforms. The next thing to this is staying updated with industry trends. So I asked you earlier what your desired job title is, what your desired industry is. Now you need to think about, how am I going to stay up to date with these trends in my own industry? So these are things like just keeping keeping abreast or keeping your finger on what is happening in the field, reading articles, joining groups, podcasts, blogs, anything that's in your industry that you can really hone in on, following industry leaders. What are they posting? Doing your own research and making your own posts about what's going on. The next part to this is upskilling through online courses. So you guys are here today. This is a form of upskilling, but you can also now go to your specific industry and think about, is there a course on Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare, LinkedIn, any of these places where I know that I can go and take a course for $25 or maybe a free course, and I can actually upskill, and now I can add that to my resume, and now I can talk about that in the interview. Okay, so think about that. The next area that I want you to focus on is just participating in workshops and webinars. So again, you guys are here today. So this shows me that you're dead serious about moving forward in the 2024 job market. So think about what other workshops or what other webinars can you attend. There's a lot of organizations and educational institutions that host events on topics like AI, okay? We've talked about that. Machine learning, cloud computing is a big one. Anything that is valuable to you and your industry, and making sure that you're standing out as the top candidate. And then finally, think about certifications or specializations. So again, this is really big, especially for anyone in the IT industry. Let's say you wanted to do CompTIA's A+ certification. Maybe you want to do Cisco's certification. Maybe you want to be a certified project manager. Whatever that is, look to these areas and think about, how can I now add that to my resume so that I'm standing out again as the top candidate? So I want to know in the chat, give me your 3 strongest skills. Now on the planner, you guys, on the planner, I'm giving you 10 spaces to list your 10 strengths. I want to know here today in the chat, what are your 3 strongest skills? So type your 3 strongest skills into the chat. I have my holiday cup for you as well. This is a cute one. It kind of reminds, I have a grandma that was Scottish. I called her my Scottish grandma. This reminds me of her in the holiday time. So she's not with us anymore, but she was an amazing woman. Okay, while you guys are typing in your strongest skills, I want to talk about how AI is impacting the hiring process. So we've talked a lot about this over the last couple of months on this channel, but really, how is AI impacting the hiring process, and how can you maintain that competitive edge? So I've shared this graphic before, but I want to share it again. Research that we've done, job seekers who use AI are seeing greater success than job seekers who don't. Okay, so based on recent articles and studies, 78% of job seekers who use AI secured an interview, where 59% actually got hired. In addition to that, there's other studies that are showing that job seekers that use AI are actually receiving more job offers, but they're getting paid more. So keep that in mind. Now, I also want to throw out a caveat to this, because I don't want you guys to become overly dependent on AI. I want it to be you to use it as a tool and a resource to help you get the leg up on your competition. But I had this conversation, and Carrie, I'm not sure if you're here in the chat today. Carrie is in our, she's one of our amazing members in our private Facebook group on Facebook, the Career Club. If you guys aren't in there, make sure you join us in that group. It's a free club. I think there might be, 15, 16, 17,000 people in there. And we're always talking about career-related content, and people get feedback on all sorts of things. One of the conversations that we had in there was, she said, well, Heather, I'm seeing that there's some studies coming out that are showing that companies are actually doing a search to find out if the resume was written or if the candidate is using AI to help them in the job search process, and those candidates are actually being turned down. So keep that in mind. I have not done a lot of research on that just yet. My research is showing that candidates who are using AI, it's giving them a huge advantage, but you have to use it the proper way. So here's what we did. We actually just added inside of our toolkit, which I'll share where you guys can get that in a minute. We just added a brand spanking new AI job search tutorial with 120 more than that, job seeker prompts. So I just finished updating the very last lesson last night. Those are all uploaded into our online course curriculum. And I'm really showing you how to properly use AI, because I can tell you when we get a resume submission, I can tell if the person just copied and pasted straight from ChatGPT and put it in their resume without making any adjustments. And yes, that is a huge turnoff. So be really, really, really careful of that. You want to make sure you're using it, but you need to make sure you're using it the right way. Now, another stat by Indeed, they are saying, notice this graph, that job postings that contain any sort of reference to the job seeker needing to know AI has risen dramatically. So you can see that up until, probably what was this, maybe March of 2023, there was really not a lot of mention. There was a little bit in like November of 2022, but then as you get to 2023, notice the job postings that are asking for their job seekers or their candidates to know some sort of AI. So again, employers want you to know how to use this tool as well. So keep that in mind. This is such an important graph. And it just shows the importance of making sure that you understand it. Yes, hello, Carrie. I'm so glad you're here. I knew that you'd be here. You're awesome. Okay, so question for you guys. I want to know in the chat, what AI tools have you used? So what AI tools have you guys used before? I'm going to share with you, we're going to jump into the job search, our step number 4 in a second. But while you guys are typing that in, I want to share with you guys, I want to invite Michael onto, I'm going to play a quick clip of him. Michael actually is one of our Toolkit users, and he was in a secure job, loved his job, didn't think he needed to go out and create a resume. He all of a sudden was learning about some changes in his organization and thought, oh my goodness, where do I go? What do I even do? I want you guys to listen to Michael's story really quickly, and then we'll jump into step number 4 here.
So I'm in the healthcare industry. So I've been in the healthcare industry for over 30 years now. I started off as an X-ray technologist. And then from there, I just started managing large physician groups, multi-specialty groups. I was the vice president of operations, been doing this forever. I utilized your toolkit to help put together my resume and help with me putting together my LinkedIn information and networking, et cetera. So it was a great tool for me to be able to utilize in all of those different areas.
When you purchased the toolkit, were you in the job search, or were you just purchasing it to kind of enhance all your career documents?
So I was actually in the job search.
Tell me a little bit about that time. Like, what were you feeling? What challenges were you facing in the job search before you actually invested in the toolkit?
Yeah, it was really all the above. And that's a great question because, I was with Northern Light Health for 7 years. So really I hadn't touched my resume. I haven't really networked. I haven't done any of that stuff because I was in a secure opportunity or a secure job. And so I didn't really see a need to do all of that. And so when I started watching your videos and stuff online, and I learned so much more and thinking, I need to bring myself up to speed on many of those things. And that's where your toolkit really taught me how to network. It taught me how to work on my LinkedIn account. It taught me how to put together my resume and stuff, because it has been years since I've done any of that. Yeah. So it's been a fantastic journey through that.
What was the most valuable resource for you inside the toolkit?
Yeah, for me, it was the LinkedIn toolkit, just learning the networking. I've had a LinkedIn account for 100 years, but it wasn't developed like it was supposed to be. And your toolkit helped walk me through that. So it really enabled me to have a much stronger LinkedIn account. And now I think I'm up to like 26,000 people through networking. Well, thank you. But it's part of going back to your toolkit, because your toolkit helped drive me in that direction to help me know how to network, help me know what type of introduction verbiage I should use when I'm reaching out to people to network with, etc. So I found that to be the most beneficial for me.
At the time you invested in the toolkit, you had common job search challenges. What would you say was the biggest milestone that you met just from investing in the toolkit?
I really go back to, and I hate to keep using LinkedIn, but I really do think that that was what helped me land my job here in Tennessee through CHS, because it was through that networking that I've learned from the LinkedIn Toolkit that enabled me to reach out to the people that actually ended up offering me a job.
If you had a friend right now that was in the job search, they'd lost their job, maybe they were even looking for a promotion or to move on to a new company, what would you tell them about the toolkit?
That anything you can think of is out there. In fact, I do have friends that they haven't updated their resume in many years. They need to start from square one. They haven't updated their resume. They haven't updated their LinkedIn accounts because they've been working for the same organization for many years. You're a one-stop shop, to use that term, because everything is out there.
Okay, you guys, what I love about Michael's story is he talks about he hadn't done anything, updated his resume, his LinkedIn profile in a really long time. And what he did with the toolkit is he went full steam ahead on his resume, full steam ahead on his LinkedIn profile, learned how to network properly. And then, as he said, brought himself up to speed. So again, we have amazing tools here. I'm going to share with you guys in a second where you can get the toolkit. So what I'm seeing in the chat, a lot of you guys are saying Chat GPT. I'm seeing some Bard. I'm seeing, mainly Bard and Chat GPT. I do not use Bard. I mostly use Chat GPT just because, to me, I find that I get better results with Chat GPT. And I also, here's the other cool thing. I have the paid version, but I also use the 3.5 version, which is what it is right now at the time of this recording. But I use the free and the paid version. I get different results with both. Sometimes I like what the free version gives me over what the paid version gives me. It's really interesting. It kind of has a mind of its own, right? So good. I'm glad to see that most of you guys are using it in some way. So let's talk about our simplified job search plan. So when we put this planner together, what I was really purposeful of doing or mindful of doing is really keeping it simple, because I'm not a big, huge planner. I don't love to sit down and think about, what are my goals? I just don't have time to do that. So when I'm asking you guys to do it, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to ask myself to do this and it's me doing this, I need it to be so dang simple and something that's not going to take a lot of time, something that I can kind of do in like just a few minutes to really get the idea of where I need to go. So again, we're going to be talking about that. Make sure, if you haven't yet, get this planner, heatheraustin.online/planner. This is a free planner for you. We're already like deep into this process. So we're going to kind of finish this out, and then I'm going to show you guys or tell you exactly where you can grab the toolkit if you're interested in that, with all of the brand new updated AI lessons. So we have already talked about creating your vision and your industry insights. Okay, that was on our first couple of pages. So when we look at this plan, think of it in 7 steps. We've already talked a little bit about your skill set evaluation, and then of course experience assessment. Now, what that means is I want you to revisit this workbook when we're finished here today and finish filling in some of these areas, because we've basically covered these top 2. The final 5 that I want to focus on for the rest of this training is your resume revamp and cover letter crafting. Okay, I'm going to share a couple tips with you on that. I want to talk a little bit about your digital presence and network building. Again, these are all inside of this planner that you guys can download right now. I want to talk about your job search targeting, planning, and organizing. I also want to spend just a couple seconds on your interview prep and your salary negotiation. And then I want you to make sure you're very aware, because this is one of my favorite parts of the planner, is the checklist and the weekly planner. So I've given you guys an exact checklist as you're going through your job search that you can say, okay, that's done, check. This is done, check, check. And basically you get everything squared away. And then the weekly planner, I feel like, is super important, because one of the biggest frustrations I get from a lot of people is job searching can be a full-time job. If you do it smartly and you do it wisely and you're only applying for the positions that are right for you, it should not take all the time in the world. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go through each of these last 5 remaining items. So let's talk about when you're revamping your resume and creating your cover letter. So there's two things I want you to remember. Now, I'm not going to go into an entire how to write your resume or how to write your cover letter because we have lots of trainings already out there about that. Plus, we have trainings inside of the toolkit about each of these things. But what I do want to say at the very minimum, when it comes to revamping your cover letter, or excuse me, your resume, it has to be tailored. Now, inside of our job search planner, if you guys turn to, I think it's page 5, I'm asking you a couple of questions on here about when did you last update your resume? I'm asking you, do you have a master copy of your resume that you can tailor to the different applications that you're applying for? If you do not have that master copy, you need to get it created ASAP. Now, again, inside the Career Advancement Toolkit, we have a master resume template that you can use as your master copy as you get it filled in. We also have other resume templates in there, transitioning careers, new recent graduate, employment gaps, all sorts of scenarios are in there. Now, when it comes to your cover letter, this is what I want you to keep in mind. It's pretty simple. You need to make sure you are listing your key selling points. And there's 2 ways to do this. Okay, jot this down. 2 ways to do this. Through you telling them that you're the solution that they need, and through storytelling. That's how you're going to get your key selling points across in that cover letter. So that's what I want you to remember mostly from this training. Now, inside of the workbook, I ask you to write down your key selling points, things that you can put into the cover letter that show that you are the top candidate. Now, I also give you an example. So again, right down here, page 5, I give you an example of what that looks like. Because a lot of people are like, what are my key selling points? So I'm trying to help you kind of like jog your mind on what that might be so that you can get that into your cover letter. Now, when it comes to the next portion of this, which is your digital presence and network building, what I put up here on the screen is the things that you need to optimize on your LinkedIn profile. Now, again, I have trainings and tutorials that go into every single bit of this piece on your LinkedIn profile. Take a screenshot of this if you need to. These are the key areas that I want you to optimize. So again, if on your job search planner you switch to the next page, we talk about what do you need, what needs the most work on your LinkedIn profile. I ask you to rate your LinkedIn profile. We talk about what sections are you going to start working on right away. We also talk a little bit about your professional network. What does that look like? Okay. So when it comes to your digital presence and network building, LinkedIn is going to do all that heavy lifting for you. But what you have to do is give it a little bit of information so it can do that. You have to provide a nice headshot, give it an amazing headline, write a really kick butt about section, which by the way, in the toolkit, we go into detail on your headline and your about section. You need to give it your experience. You need to talk about your education and your training, skills and endorsements, and recommendations. Let me know in the chat if this is making sense to you. So type yes in the chat if you're like, okay, yes, I'm going to go do this right now on my LinkedIn profile. Type yes into the chat if this is starting to come together for you. Yes, good. And Tori's also giving the link to the job search planner inside of the chat. I also have it pinned to the top of the chat for those that are watching live. If you're watching this on the replay, down below in the description, you have the link to the planner. And by the way, the planner is a free resource for anyone that's here today. You guys have this link. It's for anyone that's here. Enter your name and your email address and we'll send it to you. Yes, good. Okay, I'm seeing lots of yeses. Francis says wonderful. Good. Laura says yes. Okay, good. We're going to keep going with this then. So I want to share with you guys, there's 2 templates that I want to share with you because I'm such a big believer in not only optimizing LinkedIn. So again, hopefully you guys have taken a screenshot of this, but also being able to use the platform to network properly. So I'm going to share 2 templates with you. You're going to need to screenshot this. If you decide to join us in the toolkit, this plus like hundreds of more templates are in there already written out for you. So all you do is copy and paste and make your changes. But I'm going to be sharing 2 templates with you. Let me share this one. I'm going to remove my face from the screen for just a second because I'm kind of covering it up. Let me see if that's it. Okay, there it is. So take a screenshot of this right now while my face is not on the screen. So this is where you are going to reach out to a recruiter on LinkedIn. So this is, again, you either found a position, maybe you've applied already, whatever it is. This is the one template that we get requested the most is, what do I say to a recruiter on LinkedIn? So take a screenshot of that. And then I'll read it out to you really quickly. Let me put myself back on the screen. There we go. Okay. So this one says, hi, so-and-so, my name is such and such. I recently applied for the blank position with the blank company, right? I've heard so many great things about this company. I know without a doubt my skills and expertise in the area of, and then you're going to mention some of your skills, will be a great asset to your organization. If I can provide additional information to move the hiring process forward, please let me know. Okay, that's just a really simple, in fact, this is actually our very short version of reaching out to a recruiter. We have a longer version where you go into more detail about who you are, why you love the company, why should they hire you, why should they bring you in for an interview, why should they give you a job offer. There's actually a longer version, but this one is kind of like a short, quick, I want to reach out, let them know I'm interested and that I've applied and why they should hire me. Now, the next template I'm going to give you, this one is asking for a recommendation. So this again, and I'm sharing these 2 templates because I think they are the most important ones. Let me remove my face again, and then I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to screenshot this. So this one is where you're now going to reach out to someone and ask them to write a recommendation for you. Now, and this is the short version, okay? I also have a long version of this. So again, hopefully you guys are screenshotting that. I'm going to put my face back on the screen here. So when it comes to getting recommendations on LinkedIn, you need to reach out and ask people. This is where you're going to ask them to write your recommendation. You're going to say, hey, I've heard that LinkedIn recommendations are a great way to optimize your profile. Would you mind writing a recommendation for me about our time together, specifically in the area of X, Y, and Z, with a focus on these skills? With this template, what I want you to remember or keep in mind is that you're not just saying, hey, like I get this all the time. Will you write a recommendation for me? I'm like, about what? Like, what do you want me to say? So what you need to give people to make it easier for them is what this recommendation is going to be about. What skills do you want them to focus on? Now, this is the short version. Inside the toolkit, we also have a longer version where you actually draft the recommendation for them. And all they have to do is make a few changes. They post it to LinkedIn. You get to go into LinkedIn and you can review the recommendation and before it posts to your profile. If you guys are totally confused about what I'm saying, inside the toolkit, we have our 3-part LinkedIn mini series that will be available for those that decide to join us in the toolkit today. So I break that all down inside the series. But again, this is just to kind of get the wheel spinning on, okay, how am I going to take this digital presence and my network building to the next level? And there's so many more templates inside there, but these are just a few to get you started. Now, quick question. If you were to look at your LinkedIn profile right now, what 3 areas do you think need the most work? So type that into the chat. Remember also on page 4, is it 4 of the planner? I might even be on page 5 now. You are going to be writing in what these areas are. You're also going to be talking about what your professional goals for networking are. You're going to be talking about if there are events that you can attend this year, whether those are in person or online events. You're also going to be talking about groups that you can join. And this is really easy. Groups are like a no-brainer. That's where you're going to go to LinkedIn and you're just going to search up, hey, like I'm a project manager. What groups are there for project managing? Okay. And you'll type that in. So again, type into the chat, which 3 skills or areas of LinkedIn need the most work on your profile. Now, a couple more things that I want to show you guys really quickly. These are kind of, and I'm like hand picking a couple pieces out of the planner for you to focus on. So when it comes to job search, targeting, planning, and organizing, I really want you to think about how much time you're spending. Now, there's so many formulas out there that say you should be spending this percentage of your time researching, this percentage of your time updating your resume, this percentage of your time on your LinkedIn profile, this percentage of your time, yada, 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 in the interview prep, right? There's so many different formulas out there. I like to keep it a little bit more fluid because some people take a lot more time researching and preparing than other people. Some people can get the research out of the way fast and then jump right into tailoring their application materials. But the areas that I want you to focus on are on this page, on the screen right here, and then you'll also go to page 7 of your workbook. I want you to really think about how much time you're spending. So, and this is just an example. Let's say for research and prep, I'm going to spend 1 to 2 hours. Let's say for tailoring my application materials, it's going to be another 1 to 2 hours. Let's say for applying and actually following up, it's going to be another 1 to 2 hours. And networking, it's going to be another 1 to 2 hours. That's going to be 4 to 8 hours per position that you're using in this process. So you have to decide which areas am I going to spend the most time in. It might even be tailoring. It might be networking. You might want to focus more on networking. And that's the one thing that I mention a lot is I want you to spend more time on networking than I do anything else, because that's really where you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck. But this is just an example. Again, let me know in the chat as well, how many hours do you do or do you devote to job hunting? So type that into the chat. How many hours are you job hunting right now? Yes, Laura mentioned about the about section or your summary, which is huge, and recommendations. I would say those are the two areas. If you're going to spend any time, well, your headline, of course, but if you already have an awesome headshot and an awesome headline, work on the about section and recommendations. Victoria says about section, profile, recommendations, and endorsements. So good. And by the way, inside of our 3-part LinkedIn mini series, we talk all about endorsements and recommendations. I even go into a formula on how to write your about section, how to write your headline. All of that stuff's in there for you. Good. Victor says around 4 to 6 hours a day. Okay. Let's see. Michael says putting in a full work day every day. Yep. And Michael, what I'm wondering is if that means you're going to work and then maybe you're spending some time after work, or does that mean you're doing a full work day of job searching every day? Yes, Ahmed says 6 to 8 hours. Catherine, you know what? This is actually really smart. Catherine says, right now I'm giving it a break because I have some temp work. So here's the other thing. I've talked about this before in my live streams. Sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you've searched and it's been a few weeks and you're not seeing the results you want. Sometimes you just need to stop. In fact, I have one of our clients had searched for a job for I don't even know how many days he was at it. Rejection upon rejection upon rejection. Stopped everything, purchased one of our programs, took a deep dive into what he was learning, got all of his career portfolio squared away, started doing some networking. His first day back on the job search, applied for 3 jobs and got job offers with all 3 companies. So again, sometimes you just need to take a break and reassess. Now, a couple more screenshots that I want to share with you guys. Now, this is going to be part of your interview prep and your salary negotiation. I want you to really be thinking, again, this is on page 8 of the planner, about your prep and your mini career stories. So when it comes to what you're talking about in the interview, you really have to think about your greatest accomplishments, biggest projects, your most noteworthy events in your career, and you need to break it down into a story format that you can share now in the interview. So that, again, is going to be on page 8 of the workbook. So this is where I actually don't have you just share 1, I have you share 5 stories. Now, you could even go more than that. You could do 7, you could do 10. I want you to at least start with 5. If 5 is overwhelming, go to 3. Okay, and notice on the screen here, I'm giving you an example. Let me take my face off really quick so you can see. If you have the planner, you'll see this anyway. So again, on page 8. It gives you the exact example, gives you a little bit more instruction on what to do here. But again, this is going to be pivotal in you planning that job search, okay? The other thing that we talk about here in the planner is your salary negotiation. I want you to know exactly what a salary range would be for you that's ideal, but I also want you to know what your ideal salary is. So salary range is going to be a number to a number. We're never sharing that whole entire range in an interview. We're sharing our ideal number. So I might be willing to take this job for 120, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, I want 145. I'm not going to say I want 120 to 150 because they're going to say, well, you did say 120, so we're going to give you 120. But you said 120 to 150. You're thinking I'm going to get 150 because I asked for that. That's not how it works. You have to have an exact range in your mind before you even go in and start negotiating. So again, in the workbook, I asked you to enter your range and then your ideal salary. And it's a lot of research involved. You need to know the position. You need to know what you're worth. I also ask you to go through questions that you can ask your interviewer. I also ask you to go through things that you can negotiate other than salary. What else can you ask for? A bonus, an annual bonus, a sign-on bonus, hybrid work schedule, flexible work schedule, whatever that might be. I give you some ideas inside the workbook on how to do that. So again, I think that is on page 9. So take a look at that. And then also following up. We talk a lot about following up on this channel, and that's one of the most important parts of the process. Now, last 2 things I want you to keep in mind with the planner. I have a checklist. So I want you to go through that checklist right now, and I want you to look at what do I already have done? What's already done and what can I move on from so that I'm making sure that I'm doing some of these other items. So it's a whole checklist. Just quickly glance through that. I'm talking about setting and establishing your career goals, which if you answered that question at the beginning, that's already done for you. Did you define your job title and industry? You're probably already done with that. So you can go through this checklist and start checking off the things that you have already finished. Once you're finished with that, I want you to go to the next page and I want you to look at your weekly planner. Planning is so pivotal when it comes to really accomplishing your goals. I want you to be very intentional about what your task is going to be. I get a lot of job seekers and they say, Heather, I don't even know what to spend my time on. I don't even know where do I look? What research do I do? Inside this planner, I've walked you through, by the time you get to this weekly planner, enough information that you can say, okay, on Monday, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend this much time on it. I'm going to check down if it's completed, and I'm going to give myself some additional notes. Let me move my screenshot again so that you guys can see that. So that's just a piece of it. Now, I do also give you an example inside of this planner so that you can see what I'm actually talking about when I say, what does it look like for you to actually start planning your weekly schedule? And here's the other thing. You could take this onto a monthly basis. Like, what does it look like in an entire month? What does week 1 look like? Week 2, week 3, week 4? This is just an example of a weekly planner, but you can also do this in terms of a monthly planner. So, question for you guys. Hopefully you do have your planner because that's going to be a huge game changer for you. What is your biggest takeaway so far? So type into the chat, what is your biggest takeaway so far? Now, most of you joined today's session because you probably were just wondering, what does it look like? What is 2024 going to look like? How is AI going to be involved in this process? What do I need to do to make sure I'm ahead of the competition, right? A lot of you guys had written in and said, I'm just not sure what step to take, where to go, updating my resume, my cover letter, my LinkedIn profile. It seems so overwhelming in the beginning, but if you have a plan and you have a strategy based on the success stories that we receive from our clients and our students, it does not need to take you a lot of time. You just need the path. You need the map to make it happen. So I want to give you guys that map, and I want to invite you to join us inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit during our holiday flash offer. Now, if you have not heard of the Toolkit, it's an elite career bundle with video lessons, templates, guides, we have instructions, we have examples to help you secure your next job offer. And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. And here's the thing, we want you to be able to apply and interview with confidence. So let me share a couple of success stories with you. Tammy wrote in, she increased her salary by $32,000 and joined the 6-figure club. She said, your course helped me secure a position with a pay rate $25K higher than she'd ever been paid before. Excuse me. And then she says, a year later, I received another $7K increase. Next year, I joined the 6-figure club. And this is what I love about what she said. She says, my advice to anyone who is looking for work, do exactly what Heather says. You will succeed. And then she goes on to say, blessing to you. Here's what Eric said. He wrote in and he had applied to 10 jobs and got interviews with all 10 companies. So that's the success that we want you to have. He says, after using your resource for creating and optimizing my LinkedIn page and my resume, he says, I have been highly sought after. He goes, I applied for 10 jobs and got 10 hits on each of the positions. He says, you are undoubtedly the best at what you do. Now, I want to share another success with you guys. I'm going to share a quick clip with you of Kelly. If you guys haven't met Kelly before, she is one of our Toolkit members. So I'm going to share a quick video with her so that you guys can see exactly what's possible here.
So I have been a graphic designer for 15 years. I had worked various jobs and recently got a job at my dream job as a visual communications instructor at the community college where I started.
Tell me a little bit about your job search challenge or biggest frustrations that you were having before you invested in the Toolkit.
I was applying to a lot of different positions that I was qualified for, but I wasn't hearing back from them. I began searching of reasons, why am I not getting called back? As a graphic designer, your portfolio is everything. And my portfolio was there. But what I discovered was that my resume was lacking. So I started YouTubing and found you. And from there, learned that my layout was not conclusive in the right environment for a bot to read over. It was looking at it as an image instead of text like it should be. After watching many of your videos, I was like, I need to have a plain Jane, better formatted resume. So I have my plain, the template that you gave resume, and then I have a fancy one that I take to job interviews.
That's so smart. Like, what specific milestones or successes have you had as a result of using the Toolkit? You mentioned earlier you're in your dream job.
Before I landed this job, job before last. I had worked in the hunting industry for 8 years as their graphic designer in-house. And that's where I was kind of stagnant in my job search. And so I kind of got really determined of, I want to find a better job. I started with your Toolkit, redid my resume, overhauled my portfolio, and started applying to jobs and started getting twice as many interview requests. One of those interview requests came in the form of a defense contractor. They were really interested in me. So I came and interviewed for the job. I went from making $40,000 a year to $57,000 a year. And I think that was based on my resume. The Toolkit also helped with applying for this visual communications job. I really appreciated the AI prompt kit that you've added. It really helped me as far as like a jump off point. I could put in, like you suggested, put in the description for the job, extract the keywords. What do I need to put in my resume? What do I need to be saying? How do I need to word this? It did it. I put it together and submitted it for this job and got it.
Would you say the AI/chat GPT part was the most helpful resource, or inside the Toolkit, what would you say would be the most valuable?
No, definitely the most valuable was the lessons about the resume template. Not the template, but yes, the template itself. But if you only had the template, you wouldn't know how to correctly fill it in. So without the lessons, learning about, quantitative statements, qualitative statements. Mine was more qualitative because it's hard to quantify. But those tips and tricks and just lessons that you taught in there helped me fill out my resume. So yes, the template was great and wonderful. but
Yeah.
it was the lessons of how to do it.
Yeah.
And then even it continued to help too when I got this job of how to resign from my previous job. And I
Yeah.
resigned in such a way that they asked me to stay as a
Oh,
casual.
wow.
So
Wow.
now I work part-time for them while I'm
Oh,
still working.
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you. So, what would you tell a friend that was thinking about investing in the toolkit, or even a friend that was in the job search? What would you tell them about the toolkit?
It's an investment in yourself, and you deserve to have the job you want. You deserve to have a good job that you like going to, that you feel fulfilled. Investing in yourself, investing in this toolkit allows you to achieve that.
Okay, you guys, what I love about what she said is that she was applying for positions that she thought she was qualified for, but she wasn't hearing anything back. She then said she invested in the toolkit, increased her salary by 40%. And isn't it amazing that she went to resign from her company and they said, wait, we don't want you to leave. And then she goes on at the very end, which was actually one of my favorite parts, is she says, you deserve to have a job you want. So here is what is inside of the toolkit. If you are interested in joining us, Module 1 goes through lessons and tutorials to help you build your irresistible resume. Of course, we have all the templates that you could possibly think of to help you get there so that you have your master resume copy. We also go through lessons and tutorials for creating your compelling cover letter, where we talk about your unique selling point, how to show them that you're the solution, and how to tell your story in a very interesting and unique way. We have lessons and video tutorials about developing your personal brand and networking with LinkedIn. And then, of course, in Module 4 is lessons and tutorials for acing your interview with fantastic follow-ups. I know we didn't talk a lot about following up during job interviews today, but it is by far one of the most important things you can do. Now, as always, we include our career experts, proven resume templates and examples. This is basically what we call our career experts template vault. So you have access to any template that you can think of, every single phase of the job search process. And if you're like, hey, I want to change this template a little bit, well, you can take what we have, you can go into ChatGPT or Bard, and you can ask it to help you enhance or customize or tailor it. So we give you a really good starting place to help you work through that process. Now, also inside of the toolkit, we always offer you guys free gifts and amazing bonuses. We have our job search tracker. So not only do you have the planner, every single one of you guys here today should have this planner already. Either you've downloaded it to your computer. I know some of you said I printed it out already. It's either printed out or it's downloaded to your computer. You can use this in conjunction with the tracker, because the tracker helps you keep track and keep organized of all the important information about when did you apply for a position. Who is your point of contact in the company? What are the critical skills that you need to make sure you're mentioning in your resume, in your interview? What contacts do you have on the inside of the company? Have you followed up? When did you follow up? And of course, notes or additional information you need to be aware of about the position. So that's also included as a free gift inside of the toolkit. We also think that creating your powerful pitch or your 30-second elevator statement is super important. So again, inside of the toolkit, we have a workbook for you, as well as video lessons to help you create your powerful 30-second pitch. And then again, another free gift inside there is our job interview confidence training. This has actually been updated. So the screen, this little glamour shot I have for you is old. We've updated the interview guide already in there. So that's, you have access to the updated guide. And we have the newly updated lessons in there as well. So I know some of you guys were asking about people that already have the toolkit. You have access to all of this, because when you purchase the toolkit, one of the amazing things about it is you do get lifetime access. So that's all in there for you as well. And then again, I told you we just uploaded our very last updated lesson for our AI training. So that's in there. hot off the press with the 120 proven prompts. Now, a lot of our toolkit people, one of the things that they say is, Heather, the AI prompts were so useful because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to get started. And they're just a resource to help you know how to ask ChatGPT for what it is that you want help with rather than being confused. So again, that's in there, and those are newly updated for 2024. And then of course, our fast action bonus, this is going to go to the first 20 people who grab the toolkit. We're going to include a 60-minute group career coaching consultation. In fact, this consultation, I don't have the date on here. Where's my calendar? Is on, I want to say January 4th. So January 4th, this is going to give you guys some time to enjoy the holidays. January 4th on a Thursday, we are hosting a group call. Dive into the toolkit, get started, spend some time with family and friends, enjoy the holidays, celebrate a little bit, get some things worked out with your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, and then join us for that call on Thursday, January 4th. So that's going to go to the first 20 people who decide to join the toolkit. And then our expiring bonus, because we love people who take action, if you enroll before tonight at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, you will have access to the LinkedIn Job Search 3-part mini series. So in this mini series, we take you through optimizing your LinkedIn profile. We take you through how to showcase your skills professionally, how to build meaningful relationships, how to establish thought leadership, and how to share your expertise with the world. So again, this is a huge resource for you guys. That's going to also be included inside the toolkit. So you might be wondering, Heather, how much is the toolkit? Well, the total value of all the templates, the trainings, the guides, actually it's probably even more than this now. The coaching, the mini series, everything inside there is worth more than $3,506, but you can join us today for just $197. Now, this is our holiday flash sale. We do probably 4, maybe 5, I don't even think we do 5 flash sales on the toolkit a year. Once the new year hits, with all the additions and the changes that we've made in the last couple months, we may not offer the toolkit again for $197. So if you've been on the fence and you're wondering, should I really grab this? Like, I've seen this before, but I haven't gotten it yet. This is the time to do it, because by the time we do this, another flash offer, which might not be for another 2 or 3 months, I don't know how much the price is going to be. So again, if you're on the fence, make sure you join us in the toolkit. Now, remember that this holiday flash offer is going to end on Thursday, the 21st. Okay, so by Thursday, the 21st, this will be totally gone. So make sure if you're interested in being the first 20, you're going to want to grab it by today. If you're interested in that 3-part LinkedIn mini series, you're definitely going to want to grab the toolkit by today. But you do have until Thursday, December 21st to get our holiday flash offer pricing. I know Tori has already shared with you guys the link inside of the chat box. I also have it linked, I believe, inside the comments if you're watching this on the replay. And then I'm going to place this link in the chat box, and then I'm going to also pin it for you so that will be at the very top. We're going to do a couple questions here in just a minute. So again, that will be there for you guys. Let me pin this really quickly so that you have that. But you can also go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. You'll notice that the replay of today is going to be at the top of that page. So you'll have quick access to the replay so that you can watch the replay and then scroll down the page and you can look at the information about the toolkit. So we do have secure checkout. You can use either PayPal or a credit card, heatheraustin.online/live offer. I'm going to share with you guys a couple more success stories and then we will take questions. So Leah wrote in and said, this is where I need my glasses. Hers is really small. She is making the money that she wanted and has a hybrid work schedule. So she says, I was applying for jobs when I could, but was getting little results. But wasn't getting results. I revamped my CV according to your template and watched your videos on interview prep, the job interview confidence training. She says, I accepted an offer for a project coordinator role for a great employer. She said, I found the CV template really helpful for stories, for behavioral questions when interviewing. She says, and this is like what makes us keep doing what we do. She says, this means a lot to me and my family that I'll be bringing in the money I wanted and working hybrid. So we want the same success for you guys. One more screenshot here. This is Robert. He landed an interview with the exact company he was interested in. He says, I used your resume template and followed all of the instructions to the letter. Remember, if you guys do exactly what I tell you, okay? He says, and landed in an interview with the exact company that I was interested in. He says, I was thrilled to know that you provided everything I needed to land this position. Now, as a quick recap, you guys, inside of the toolkit, you get 4 learning modules with high impact lessons and video tutorials. You get the career experts template and example vault. You have the master your job search with tracker. Again, use that with your planner. Okay. Create your powerful pitch. Your job interview confidence training, our brand new updated 120 proven chat GPT prompts and tutorial that's updated for 2024, our 60-minute career coaching consultation, which is going to happen on Thursday, January 4th. And then, of course, your LinkedIn job search 3-part mini series. And then one of my favorite parts is lifetime access to the curriculum and the templates. So when you guys invest today, you'll have lifetime access to all of it. So go to heatheraustin.online/live offer to grab the toolkit. And I would love to take a couple questions and see where you guys are in the chat. Let me know again, what is your biggest takeaway? When you think about what you learned today about AI transforming the hiring process, job market trends, planning and preparing for the 2024 job market, what is your biggest takeaway from today? Okay, Tane, I'm going to see, can I get this on the screen? Oh, yay. Okay. So Tane asked, when I asked for keywords in AI, I have had to give ChatGPT the definitions of keywords. Has that been your experience also? No, I have never had that experience. So normally, Tane, when I'm interacting with AI, it's actually really good about giving me what I want. And I do kind of bounce between the paid and the free version. What I would say though, is this is a really good example of when you need to keep finessing your conversation with AI. So for example, I would maybe have said something like, hey, and I shared this at our last, I think it was our resume writing masterclass, our last live stream that we did, which is not available anymore on the channel, but I shared this prompt where you ask it, hey, can you extract like the top 5 to 10 key skills? So rather than keywords, let's use key skills from this position. And then it's going to go through and it gives you the exact key skill. And then it gives you like a description. And then you can say, oh, it's asking for this. Well, this is how I can put that in my resume. Or this is how I can now write a career story or formulate a career story and then go from there. So again, yes, you might need to finagle it a little bit. And it's interesting. I think it depends on too, like how many chats do you have with it? How does it know you? Like I'm in it every single day. So I'm like, now it's becoming on autopilot how I ask it questions. And I'm almost to the point where I'm like, well, if I ask it this way, yes. Carrie said this exact same thing. Give me the key, give me the 5 to 10 key skills or keywords. Okay, there was another question from Sherry. If we previously bought the toolkit and other resources, will we have access to all of the recent updates? Yes. So this is the amazing thing about the toolkit is we do offer lifetime access. Now, I don't know how long we'll offer lifetime access. I don't know how long the toolkit will be at the price point that it is, especially as we start updating and making refinements. We normally do a big, huge overhaul every year, but as we see needs for additional training, we add it into the program. And then when we do an offer like this, we give it to you in an offer. Like my offer the last time we did this might not be the exact same as this offer, might not be the exact same as January or February or March or whenever we do this again. So this is the offer that we have for today. Really good question. Catherine asked, is there an app for the toolkit? Yes. So I actually reached out to our tech team, and you can download the app. So we do everything on Teachable. And you can, if you download the Teachable app, you can go in and access your account and access everything through the app so that you don't have to do it through a desktop. Really good question. Let's see. I'm going to see. Yes, I love it. Laura says, let me get your comment up here, Laura. My takeaway is to have a strategic plan for my job search and network more. I love that. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yes, network more. If I had to tell anyone, that is the one thing that you want to make sure you do. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any other questions. My chat's acting kind of funny. Let me see if there's any other questions I can pop up here. And then we'll go. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, Brenda asked, can I get the 3-part mini-series if I bought the toolkit? Yes. If you have, well, let me think. I do think it's in there for everyone. I will have to look at that, Brenda. Let me see if it's there. Yeah. I can't remember if we offered it to everyone, because the 3-part mini-series was a series that we offered on YouTube for a couple of days, and then it became like a separate product that we offer. So that is a product that people paid for. And normally if it's a paid for service, we don't include it unless it's part of the offer. So Brenda, send us an email, Heather at Professor Austin, and me and Tori and I will take a look at that. Awesome. Good. So many awesome people joining us in the toolkit. Yes, Francis says, thanks so much, Heather. You're so welcome. I'm so glad that you guys took some time to spend with us today. I know I was asking Tori, I'm like, Tori, I know this live stream is late in the year. Normally we'll try and do it the 1st of December, but we were so busy and things just kind of got, this time of year. And I'm like, I need to give these guys this information before 2024 actually happens. So that's where we are with that. Okay. Good. Let me just see. I'm going to see if there's any. Okay. Oliver asked, is the PDF toolkit editable? How do you recommend we film the document? So here's the cool thing about the toolkit. We have everything inside in a Word doc. We do also have Google Docs, but what we have found is most people want the templates and everything editable inside of like a Word doc. Now, a lot of the other, we do have a lot of PDF documents uploaded inside of Acrobat. Let me just see, Adobe Acrobat, you can edit in there, but I would not recommend editing. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend bringing it into Word and editing it that way, because trying to edit a doc in PDF form in Adobe Acrobat, if you guys have ever done that, is such a pain in the butt, and it takes so much time. If you already have the toolkit and you want to use it in Google Docs, you can do that as well, but I highly recommend doing it in Word if you can. Definitely don't edit in PDF, because that will be really frustrating. Awesome. Tim, I'm going to highlight your comment if I can get it up here on the screen. There we go. Okay, Tim says, I have the toolkit. It's incredible and easy to use. Awesome. Thanks, Tim. Okay, let me see. Okay, Michelle asked, where do I find the LinkedIn 3-part job search mini-series? That is also inside of the toolkit. Well, it's not inside, it's on the online library. So for any of you guys who have access to any of our curriculum, everything's uploaded to an online library and we have it all sectioned out. So the toolkit's in one thing, your AI training is going to be in another, the 3-part LinkedIn mini-series is going to be another, but you'll be able to see all of it. Your job interview confidence training will be there, cover letter training will be there, all of that is there. Good. Okay, you guys. Awesome. Tori, I'm going to just see if there's any last minute questions that we can answer. If not, I'm going to send you guys on your way. Are you guys ready for the holidays? Because I'm sure not. I need to go out and get my kids some Christmas gifts. And next year, I'm not going to do Christmas or even put up a tree. I'm going to go on a cruise because it's so much work and it's so stressful. And I'm just like, why do we do this? I know there's lots of reasons, but it just seems like one of those things that it's just hard to wrap my head around because we don't have a lot of time. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. I know that it's such a busy time of year for all of you. Hopefully you did get your job search planner, heatheraustin.online/planner. That is free. That's a free resource for you. So grab that. Hopefully you're going to join us inside of the toolkit. We have our 20 spots who you guys will be joining us for an invite-only coaching call on January 4th. You'll get the information for that as we get closer to the date. And then, of course, if you join us today, you will get access to the 3-part LinkedIn mini series. I highly, highly, highly recommend getting in and getting started as quickly as you can. And you do have lifetime access. So it's really a super beneficial opportunity for all of you. If you have any questions at all, make sure you email me at heather@professораustin.com. Tori, thank you so much. I love you. She's our amazing, she's my amazing team member, joins us here every time for our live streams. She also helps me with my inbox. So you'll either talk to her or me inside there. And then again, hit the like button if you guys enjoyed this training. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you're notified when I do additional trainings like this. And I will see you guys next time.